If you're in here, just let me know. I see D'Amico's here. I posted in the comments the 2 questions that this week's work is asking you for, and then the learning target as well. So I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not feeling my best today, so this is gonna be a pretty short live. I just want to make sure that you understand the material. Later on today, I'll be creating a video where I read the information and give you some more background information to go with it. But this week, you'll have this assignment, and then on Thursday, I'll talk to you about your CER that's due next week, and that's the only assignment you'll have next week is a CER. So you'll be constructing that based off from the information on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. You'll be doing a comparison of the 2. So I see D'Amico in here. I'm gonna wait a little bit, drink some of the coffee that made me late. Hey, Majida. So I was just saying that I'm gonna go over those 2 questions that I posted in the comments for live. Hey, Asia. And then we'll just answer those 2 questions, and it's going to be a short live. Just you're going to get the answers to those questions, and then on Thursday I'll talk about the CER. Then next week all that's due is a CER. So I'm sorry that I look disgusting today. Also, I'm just not feeling it. Pregnancy has got me so exhausted. So our learning target, I can compare and contrast the strategies used by civil rights activists such as Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. So the 2 people you're really going to be looking at this week are Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. And they'll be the people that you're writing your CER on. So is anyone able to read the article yet that I posted on Friday? Hey, Elijah. Anyone able to read the article that I posted on Friday yet? The one that says 511 through 515. The first question has to do with the chart that's posted in the article, which has events like Brown versus Board of Education, the Montgomery bus boycott, freedom rides, university admission in Mississippi, protest marches in Birmingham, March on Washington, and the Selma March. So that first chart that's in the article, if you want to just go ahead and open it up on Canvas, it'll help you answer this question for us all together, which is explain which one you think is the most significant. So basically, out of all those events, which event is the most important is another way of saying that. So the events that you can choose from are Brown versus Board of Education, Montgomery bus boycott, freedom rides, which you guys watched a video on already, admission to my SSI, PPI, protest marches, I feel like I'm talking to myself in here. March on Washington or Selma March. So it gives you a little bit of information about each one of those specific events in the chart, and you're just picking which one you believe is the most important or most significant, which one holds the most change that happened later to you. I would always pick Brown versus Board of Education. Can you please stop? I would always pick Brown versus Board of Education, just because it's about education, and desegregating schools, I think, is extremely important, so people can have. I'm sorry, my dogs are going crazy. So people have an equal opportunity, equal education, because wherever your education comes from is going to end up being what your future leads to. So if you don't get the education that you deserve, or that's equal to a person of another race, then you're not necessarily going to get the same opportunities. So that's why I would say Brown versus Board of Education is the most significant to me. But you need to pick which one's most significant to you. It might have to do with being able to travel, being able to attend higher level universities. It might be just the fact that you can protest anything that you want to. And I mean, we're seeing today that people can't do that, though. Like, even protests today, people that don't have my skin color get in more trouble with cops. I mean, you can talk about that too, and talk about how we're still protesting to ensure equal rights for all. I had a friend yesterday who went, actually, you know her, who went to go get ice cream at Arctic Ice, is that what it's called? The ice cream place that we always go to. And she didn't like her flavor, asked for another flavor, and the person giving her the ice cream called the cops on her for asking for another flavor. And then when her boyfriend came up to talk to the guy about it, they moved their tip cup. And then the police were called, and they had to talk to them all over an ice cream flavor when no one even got loud about it. So these problems still are happening today. I told you last week that if you wanted to talk at all about the gentleman who was running, and two white men ended up shooting him while he was just running for physical activity, that I would be here to talk to you about that as well. I mean, there's still just so much racial inequality in the United States. It's insane. You would think that we would be far more progressive and that we've gone past this, but we really haven't. And it's sad. So you could talk about that in your CER as well, that maybe more people should have been like Malcolm X than like Martin Luther King. And maybe we did need a little bit more force and a little bit more violence to really let people know that this is not okay. And I don't know, whatever you would like, whatever spin you want on that question of which one's more important. I hope to see, like, not just basic answers on that question, and that you guys can really pick an event and really tell me why you think it's significant. Okay, so that's the first question. I'm sorry, excuse me. The second question, I'm gonna restate it down here. Using textual evidence, explain in your own words what life was like for African Americans by 1965. So basically, you need to go into the article and find what it's taught, where 1965 is. So if you look, where's the specific date here? Okay. Then in 1965, a stronger voting acts made a difference in Southern voting. So that's the quote that you want to be paying attention to and reading after that quote to find that answer. If you guys want to go to that paragraph and help out, then I'll be more than happy to go back and forth with you and to help you with the answer. But I'm not going to just give you the answer to question number 2. since I already gave you an example for an answer in question number 1. So question number 2, what do you think, using textual evidence, explain in your own words what life was like for African Americans by 1965? So I give you a quote, which could be the textual evidence. Then in 1965, Stronger Voting Rights Act made a difference. I'm not even giving you that much work compared to other teachers, so stop. I'm giving the least amount of work. Tell me I'm wrong. And I give you the answers on these lives. And you got wings for doing all your work 2 weeks ago. Last week you were not very present. No, I'm not giving the least amount of work. Who is then? Well, I'm pregnant and I'm still here, so you can be in here. You guys keep saying no, so who's giving less work than me? Because I've seen the gym teacher. Okay. Come on now. I still have to at least give 1 assignment per week. You don't care that I'm pregnant? Thanks. I have to give 1 assignment per week, and I think the fact that I give you the answers to the assignment means that I can give 2. So that's why I give a video to help support whatever the reading was. And that's so much less work than what you would have to do if we were in class. And then I give you a CER, and like I've only given, this is the second CER that you've done, and we've been now, this is week 8 of distance learning. You would have already had so many more CERs if we were in school, so think of yourself as blessed. But I mean, I know we're not blessed. This is like a horrible time right now with coronavirus. Thanks, Elijah. I don't know what that emoji is. Is it a thumbs up? Okay, so no one has anything to tell me why in 1965, what their life was like, what African Americans' life was like. I would definitely say change was starting to occur, possibly. That could be a way. You're right, in school it would be easier. But a lot of you guys are doing awesome with the virtual learning, I will say that. You're one of them, Elijah. Like, just making sure that you're getting the assignments done, and getting, like, helping yourself as much as you can. We're acknowledging that, and you will be acknowledged for showing up and doing the work. And there's a distinction grade for kids that are actually doing everything. So that will be recognized on your report card and documented. Okay, so if I go to this document, national government had refused again and again to defend Blacks against violence. Still, the uproar about civil rights and the attention it drew around the world made Congress pass some civil rights laws, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964. These laws promised much but were ignored or poorly enforced. Then, in 1965, a Stronger Voting Rights Act made a difference in the Southern voting. In 1952, only 20% of Blacks could vote if they had registered. By 1968, 60% were registered, the same percentage as white voters. So if you have the same amount of people that are registered to vote, then hopefully those people are going to vote and change will occur. Does that help people with question number 2? Hopefully. Can I get a thumbs up if that helps you answer question number 2, so you can put that in your own words? No thumbs up. You guys don't understand. Okay, so you still don't understand. Okay. That's not a thumbs up, Elijah. My brain doesn't work very well when I'm sick either. Yeah, thank you. That's better. Okay, so are we all good with question number 1? It's just question number 2 that we're still kind of not really understanding. Basically, the question is asking you, using textual evidence, explain in your own words what life was like for African Americans. So in 1965, life for African Americans was changing drastically. Okay, so they now had more opportunity to vote after, to have a voice in okay, so they had more of a voice to vote. So at one point in time, 20% of African Americans were registered to vote, and by 1968, 60% were due to the Voters Act of 1965. Can I get a thumbs up if we understand now? Hey, Colby. So basically, these questions are just to help you kind of start thinking about your CER that's going to be due. And that was, I think, posted at the bottom of this assignment. It's that question. Write a complete response to the prompt using the space below to, okay, writing prompt. Compare and contrast the views of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X by using evidence from the text and your knowledge of U.S. history. Hey, Jaden. So your writing prompt that you, again, these questions are supposed to kind of get you thinking about, is for you to compare and contrast Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X using evidence from the text. And then I'll also have a video that I post by the end of the day tomorrow that we'll talk about on Thursday. And then we'll go further into CER structure and sentence starters for your CER that's due next week. And that will be the only assignment due next week. You'll have a whole week to do the CER. No other assignments will be posted. Does that make sense to everyone? Majida, can you give me a thumbs up if you understand that question now? Thanks, Jaden. Okay, cool. So I'm going to end today with that. Make sure you go and you do the Canvas assignment. And then I will have, like I said, a video uploaded by the end of the day tomorrow that goes with this question for your CER. so you have more background information to answer your CER for next week on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Okay, if you need anything else, just message me and remind. Bye.